It's Women's Cup final day here at Pride Park. Arsenal have been dominating, but it took 32 minutes for them to have any effect on the scoreboard, and it came from the boot of Katie Chapman. 1-0 to the Arsenal. Well, Sue, they've dominated, they've outplayed Sunderland, but Sunderland have stuck in there.
Of course they have, yeah. It's only 1-0, so, Mick will be telling them in the changing room she's still in the game. I just think they need to come out a little bit more. They need to push players forward. You see that they're on their own a lot of the time. They go forward and there's no options for them. So I think they've got to be a little bit braver, I suppose. But yeah, Arsenal have dominated. It's been one-way traffic, but they're not out the game.
It took a while for the goal to come, and no surprise, Gemma Davison was in the thick of it. She's played very well.
She's played very, very well, yeah. Gemma all the way through as she's caused them problems both inside and outside. She's been the full-back, and she has created loads of things, and as you can see, it's Kim Little again. She's another player that for me has stood out, but yeah, here she comes inside and it's a great shot, and the keeper has done really well, but on that occasion spilled it. Kate Chapman, that's what she's known for. She'll follow things in, and you can see she makes it a great run, and just in case anything happens, she's there on hand, and she it's a great finish, and you can see there's also Susan Grant in there, so they're always thinking ahead, Arsenal, and that's what they're very good at.
It's a shame for Helen Alderson, because she's played well, she's a good keeper, and she's had a busy game so far.
She has had a busy game, and she's kept them in it. She's pulled off some really good saves, and I was saying earlier that she looked really comfortable, so it was a shame that she actually spilled that one, but it was unfortunate, and Kate Chapman did well. Maybe a defender could have come in and held the keeper out there.
She has been busy, they've had lots of chances.
Yes.
It took 32 minutes, but it should have come before that, the first goal, really, shouldn't it?
Yeah, I think it should. Like you say, there's been many chances, and here's just another one. I think that Kim Little, Susan Grant, Rachel Yankee, Gemma Davidson, they've had some great link-up play, and here a lovely little ball through from Kim, and I think Susan will probably be a little bit disappointed that she hasn't actually finished that, but they've been involved all the way through, and here again, Kim Little, very, very tidy player, Gemma Davidson, and she's really Lucy Bronze, the Sunderland defender has really impressed me. That is just a last ditch challenge. She'll be very, very happy with that. But all the way through, she's played well. But again, Arsenal are just they're coming on. They're here again.
They seem to have so much space on the ball in the box, don't they? They stand off them a lot, Sunderland, don't they?
Yeah, and I think the four players, like I mentioned before, have had lots of chances, and I think Sunderland don't know whether to go tight or whether to stand off, and here another little tidy pass through from Kim, and I think Suzanne will think she possibly should have scored, but her movement has been very good, and I think she'll be looking second half to maybe get on the score sheet.
Now, I hope Lucy Bronze is getting a few pats in the back in the Sunderland dressing room. She's had a very good game. She's kept them in the game, in fact.
She's been very, very good, and like I mentioned, there was a last-ditch challenge there that she cleared it off the line, but all the way through she's been solid. Maybe a distribution could have been a little bit better, but regarding her defensive responsibilities has been fantastic. Here's just a Jordan Nobbs chance. I think this is the only chance that Sunderland actually had, but they did commit players forward there. They got a good cross in, and unfortunately she couldn't get the shot she possibly would have wanted, and didn't really challenge Emma Byrne.
Sophie Williams has caught your eye so far. She's been pretty exciting when she's had the ball, hasn't she?
She has, again. She's been quite isolated though. When she's gone forward, she's looked good. She's looked sharp. She actually scored 2 against Chelsea, so her confidence is going to be very high. And yeah, she's caught my eye. So hopefully get the forwards on a little bit more. Get the ball to them. Get supporting them, and you never know.
Yes, Sunderland still in this game. Let's hope they come out with some renewed confidence. We have all the action when we return.
Bringing families and football together.
Want to save money on your car insurance? Try our new and improved service at moneysupermarket.com. We compare prices from all these insurance companies. 97% of people achieve a saving with moneysupermarket.com. Our unique user reviews show what real customers have to say about price, value, and service. If you want to cut the cost of your car insurance, visit moneysupermarket.com.
And from the pavilion end, it's it's a nudie lady.
Get your hands on the special cans to get your share of a cool £1,000,000.
Imagine if every time you had a cup of tea, you had an accident. Bumped yourself when you passed your coffee table. Burnt yourself when you cooked. This is what it could be like living with AMD, an age-related eye disease. Early symptoms include blurring and the distortion of straight lines. Eventually, you may lose the center of your vision. You should be having regular eye health checks, particularly if you're over 55. If you see these signs, see your optician today or call 0800 294 6894 for a free information pack. Don't let your life become an accident black spot.
Don't you hate being misled? Gigantoburger. I was expecting something at least the size of my head. Get the body you've always dreamed of. Really? How do you know what kind of bodies I dream of? The funniest film of the decade? I doubt it's even the funniest film about a goat this decade.
It's not you, it's me. And the guy you're sleeping with at work. Just give it to me straight. Like a pear cider that's made from 100% pears.
The only fruit that goes into a Magners pear cider is pear.
Strong athletic build.
Magners pear cider, 100% pear, 0% disappointment.
If I ruled the world, every man would be as free as a bird. Take my word, if the day ever dawns when I rule the
It's good to be different. Starting now, there are 7 different pay-as-you-go options to choose from. Only with Vodafone.
This little light of mine, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, gonna let it shine, let it shine.
Everyone wants to be good, to do their bit. So how about a hybrid for everyone? The affordable Honda Insight.
Eon, bringing families and football together.
We have enough belief to think we can deliver something special. You almost think this is a perfect semi-final. I'm confident that both teams will really go for it. Anything can happen in cup ties. We are survivors. There's a lot of people left at Emirates.
Yes, indeed, the men in action on Tuesday. The women are in action today. Sunderland against Arsenal. Arsenal, of course, hoping for their 10th FA Cup final win. What a record that is. But they're only 1 goal up and all to do in the second half. Of course, if this has whet your appetite for the beautiful game, you want to get involved in women's football, very easy. Just go to our website, itv.com/football. I would say there's about 20,000 people here today. A great atmosphere. One very interested party amongst them. It's the England manager, Hope Powell. She is with Ned Boat.
Well, Hope, 1-0 to the Arsenal. Could have been worse, I guess. Sunderland will be happy with that at least.
Yeah, I think so. Long half for Sunderland towards the end. They start to get very, very tired, but they are a very young side, a bit inexperienced at a cup final. Arsenal, I think, probably would have been happier going in with more goals. But hopefully in the second half, Sunderland will come out a bit stronger and we'll go from there.
It's difficult because Arsenal, when they're in their stride, a good team to watch, aren't they?
Very. Always seem to have the extra player. I think Sunderland have got to try and engage a little bit more on Arsenal's first touch, try and retain possession a bit better. But Arsenal, they play to their strengths, keep the ball moving and try and get bodies in the box.
Excellent. Thanks a lot, Hope. Cheers.
Thank you.
So, Sunderland out first. They are up for this second half. They'll feel kind of positive just being a goal down, considering, won't they?
Yeah, of course they will. I think, 1-0, like we mentioned before, they're still in the game. So they've got to take heart from that and they've got to build. And I think they really have to go for it. now, 1-0, 2-0. You just don't want the floodgates to open. But if Sunderland can pull a goal back early on, you never know what's going to happen.
Are you saying this Arsenal team can be rattled, Sue? Can that happen?
Of course they can. Of course, any team can be. So, yeah, of course they can.
And what about the crowd here today? It's fantastic. Very noisy, great buzz, isn't there?
Great atmosphere. They've got those little clapper things which, I'm sure it's spurring both sets of players on. But, Sunderland have got great fans here and so have Arsenal. So, it's been quite a good game for them.
OK, well, they're all set to go. The Sunderland team in a little huddle there. They are up for the fight here. Let's see what happens in the second half of the 39th Women's FA Cup final. Our commentator, of course, is Lucy Ward and John Champion.
And lest you doubt the popularity of the women's game in the UK, there are some figures for you. 260,000 women play, over 1 million girls, 52 centres of excellence across the country. And this, to think women's football, a sport that was once effectively banned, really. You weren't allowed to play a women's game on a football league ground for 40 years, up until 1969. Big day for the Staniforth family. Lucy, 16 years old, in centre midfield, and Father Gordon, if he looks vaguely familiar, if you're of that vintage, it's because he played in an FA Cup semi-final for Plymouth against Watford back in the 80s. Every right to be proud here at Pride Park as Sunderland in blue get this second half off and running. Lucy Bronze on the ball there, subject of some half-time debate. She's impressed you as well, I think, Lucy Ward.
Yeah, she has impressed me, and I do know that she's going to America on a scholarship next season to University of North Carolina, which is probably one of the best in America, and is coached by Anson Durant, who was the USA manager during their time of glory in the 90s, and that's fantastic for her. And you can see here the quality that she's got.
Here is Staniforth. Sunderland looking for a good positive start to the second half. Didn't create too much in the first. Little's touch to no one in particular. This is Lucy Bronze.
Yeah, I think Mikel have got into them at half-time, a little bit more urgency when they're out of possession, and when they're in possession to settle a little bit and get some passes together, Sunderland, and hopefully counter this Arsenal attack and try and create the chances.
Staniforth left a foot in there on Ludlow. Kira Grant for Arsenal. If you have just joined us, it is worth pointing out once again the disparities between these two clubs. Arsenal are fully integrated and fully funded part of the Arsenal Football Club. Sunderland run entirely on a voluntary basis. The manager is unpaid. Players have to pay their subs and raise their own funds. Sunderland battling for promotion to the Women's Premier League, where they have been in the past. Sunderland one win away from winning it yet again. It'll be awkward for them. They face their main challengers, Everton, away next Sunday to decide the league title.
Yeah, just need to be a little bit more clever with that final ball, and that Arsenal have got players in numbers that are defending well, and Sunderland just got to keep it and try and create the chances in the final third and get players supporting.
This is Yankee, and that's been a good contest, Yankee and Bronze. But Bronze has lost out to Yankee this time. It's not costly for Sunderland.
Yeah, that would have been a shame for Lucy Bronze. She defended Yankee well on Yankee's attack, and then you've just got to put your foot through it. I think that's a technical term when you get to that area, and and it's something that she will learn. Like Hope Howell said at half-time, the young team and inexperience, and that's the sort of things you do when you're inexperienced.
Voice of Lucy Ward, very experienced Leeds Carnegie forward, former cup finalist.
I'm glad you said experience and not old. I appreciate that.
You can be called a veteran if you want.
No. Called that enough, thank you.
Yankee. Greenwell. There's Bannon rather hurriedly. Went Chapman. Yankee. Greenwell. Bassett.
Arsenal miss that real strong number 9 figure that they've had in Leanne Sanderson and Julie Fleeting, because I'm not saying, Suzanne Grant's a great player, but she does play off a big player better than she does on her own up there, and she makes excellent movement. But the Julie Fleeting figure will get the ball and hold it up and bring others into play.
This is a significantly different Arsenal team to that of last season's final. Players have left to go to America. 2 went to Chelsea, including Leanne Sanderson. Retirement as well. And the pregnancy of Julie Fleeting. This is Kim Little, one of those to benefit from some of the bigger names moving on. Rachel Yankee. The block is by Bronze.
Again, good defending. I think anything that's been created by Arsenal is created through Kim Little, and she's their key player, and I think Sue Smith said it before. But again, Lucy Bronze is up to the task of dealing with Yankee.
Little. Lovely. He's the stand-in skipper of the previously injured Faye White, a substitute today. Space now for Bassett. Trying to find an escape route, and it's proving difficult.
Yeah, so the player who's impressed with the Sunderland, Jordan Nobbs. She wants to get on the ball, and she wants to do the right things with it, and she likes to pass it, and she's the type of player who has a lot of time when she does get on the ball.
Yankee. Suzanne Grant. Vicky Greenwell. Yankee, who's extending her own record today. Yet another final appearance, and she's won this competition more than any other player. 7 wins.
That's pretty impressive.
Davison. Nobbs. Sophie Williams. Williams has done well. Bassett across, and Emma Byrne called into action. That's been a rarity.
Yeah, that's good play. She was patient, Sophie Williams on the left. She got the ball past Jane Ludlow, and she just knocked it past her and then got round her and got a good ball in. And these are the times when Sunderland need to score, because it puts Arsenal under pressure, and anything could happen if they could equalise at this stage.
You mentioned in the first half that Arsenal have now scored 161 goals. Emma Byrne hasn't let too many in. Sunderland have scored in excess of 100 this season. It's Davison. Yankee. Kim Little. And Suzanne Grant. She was leaning backwards. She was off balance. Far from a convincing finish. Davison. Goalkeeper stranded once more. Little. Anxious moments for Sunderland. Niamh Fahey. And that's the redoubtable Bronze. Stokes tackling Yankee. Arsenal have the throw.
See, Arsenal have just not got that person who's just taken that extra stride to put the ball in the back of the net, which for Sunderland is a good thing. And while it stays 1-0, and Sunderland will get other chances in this game, it's looking a little bit dodgy for Arsenal until they get that second goal.
Suzanne Grant had brought her shooting boots along today. Could have been 3-0, maybe 4, but as it is, Sunderland are still in it. This is Kelly McDougall. The promising position is wasted.
Yeah, that's where they've got to be tidier and more disciplined, and those passes have got to reach, and they've got to be accurate. And there's a good promising start to that, but the ball was just given away.
Arsenal, who are used to winning and only winning, seeking a second goal. Davison.
Yeah, Jamie Davison gets herself into good positions, but that final ball's missing a little bit. But she's getting herself into those positions, and that's the main thing. With such speed, she just get away from the defenders really well there. But to be fair, she didn't really have that much in the box going in, but the cross has got to be a little bit better.
Vic Akers is a wise old owl. Counsell is valued by Arsene Wenger when they sit side by side on the men's bench, as they will tomorrow night for the Champions League semi-final second leg. Suzanne Grant. This is the score of the only goal so far. Katie Chapman. Bassett a little short. Chapman. Grant. Couldn't find Little. Ludlow. Ron stepping in ahead of Yankee, but not for long. Decent recovery though.
Again, good play by Lucy Bronze. She saw that the ball was going to be short. She stepped in front and then managed to recover for the second ball over the top. It's a good play.
Stokes. Chapman. And Sunderland's rejig defence holding out on all bar one occasion so far. Rejigged because of the suspension of Gemma Wilson. And Staniforth is given away. Fahey. Ludlow.
There's a good little tussle there between Laura Bassett and Sophie Williams. Laura Bassett's a hard player to play against, but she got a little bit of a taste of her own medicine for a challenge from Sophie Williams there, so I quite like that tussle.
You quite like the violent side of the game, don't you?
Not at all. It's called competition, I think.
Dougal.
I think again that's where you've got to see Gutteridge right on the shoulder of those centre halves, so she can react to those balls that are scooped out by Sunderland and maybe react.
Hands up for offside. We were talking about the rejigging of the Sunderland defence, all because Gemma Wilson is suspended. And Gemma Wilson is downstairs with Ned Bolting.
Gemma, a frustrated onlooker, but your side are doing themselves proudly, aren't they?
Oh yeah, totally. Arsenal obviously have got immense quality throughout the ranks, so we never expected that to be an easy game. They're pinning us back, but we expected it. But as the game goes on, we will get more into it, and we've got the players to exploit their weaknesses.
Placed down the wings, that's what you said, and I think, judging by what you told me, you'd isolated Arsenal's fullbacks as a potential area of weakness there.
Yeah, we thought that with the pace and quality we've got out wide, their fullbacks were our best chance, and we've got someone like Natalie Gutteridge. She's amazing in the air, so if we can get the quality crosses in, then we can do it.
Well, I think one of your players is injured there, so we'll hand back to John and see what's occurring.
Yes, it's Sophie Williams who's down, and the physio Katie Forsyth immediately providing some attention. It was a nasty collision.
Yeah, it was. I think she slid in to try and get the ball and came off worse from it. She's probably just having a little breather, I would suspect. It's been a tough game for her. She's done a lot of running.
She is one of the leading scorers in this season's competition. She's scored in every round so far, and Mick Mulhern is sufficiently concerned to be talking to his substitutes as well as his coaching staff. During this stoppage, there's also going to be a change by Arsenal. Helen Lander is going to come on in place of Suzanne Grant, but sadly a stretcher has been called for Sophie Williams.
It's a little bit more serious than I first thought. It just looked like a clash of knees or a clash of legs there, but obviously she's quite hurt.
And the referee Sasha Iringova also showing plenty of concern. And now they've, unfortunately, whilst we were looking at Mick Mulhern, dropped the stretcher on top of the injured player. Which probably hasn't helped the situation.
She was all right. Now they've just knocked her out. It's terrible.
Unfortunate, certainly. Hopes that she's going to be okay. They're taking plenty of care and all the time that they need. This was what happened with the stretcher in the hands of the St John's ambulance.
Just left it to Katie Chapman to hold up. That's all right. After you. After you.
She's barely moved since hitting the turf.
The spine or the neck, John. I don't know. They've brought the sort of support on for that.
was an awkward fall after a nasty collision. And Sophie Williams has been the standard bearer really for Sunderland for so much of their remarkable FA Cup run. Looks like she's going to leave in very sad circumstances here, and that'll be a big blow for Sunderland. Quite apart from her welfare, we're all very concerned about her. It's not going to help the team one jot.
No, it's not, because she's worked hard and she's created crossing opportunities and done well for a team and was growing in confidence.
Well, here is the substitution by Arsenal. Suzanne Grant, who could have had a hat-trick, hasn't got anything. And so Helen Lander, who was signed from Watford midway through the season, a prolific scorer in the Southern Division, she comes on. And you've seen a bit of her, Lucy.
Yeah, I have. I mean, looking at Suzanne Grant coming off first, it's a big mantle to take forward. Leanne Sanderson, Julie Fleeting, and carry that number 9 position for Arsenal. But Suzanne Grant gave it a go, and unfortunately today she didn't score the goals. But Helen Lander does score goals. She scored goals for Watford. She scored a goal for Watford before she was transferred to Arsenal earlier this season. So this is an excellent opportunity for her to show at the highest level of domestic women's football in this country that she can produce goals.
Well, they're taking inordinate care, as they should. And looking after the stricken striker. Katie Forsyth is the physio for Sunderland women. She's receiving help from one of her Arsenal colleagues. And there is evidence of oxygen being used as well. This is not looking at all healthy for poor Sophie Williams. In the meantime, my teammates talking amongst themselves, but this was the challenge again with Katie Chapman.
Yeah, I mean, I see a clash of legs there, John, but I think the problem looking at is sort of with her neck, but she obviously is hurt because she didn't even, like you say, she didn't even move after the challenge, and it's not good for Sunderland, it's not good for Sophie, and sort of we wish her best in terms of her health.
Well, they are close friends, Mick Mulhern and Vic Akers. They're standing side by side in the mouth of the tunnel, both showing plenty of concern. In fact, a nice touch. Mick Mulhern, knowing that Vic Akers is in charge for the last time on the touchline today, has brought him a special gift just to mark the occasion.
Yeah, it's good to see the mutual respect between these two managers, and both have worked a long time in the women's game. Obviously Vic a little bit longer, and I know Mickey's sort of proud to be a part of Vic's last game, but wants to be the winning manager rather than the losing manager.
And this doesn't help his chances of that happening, and that's not a good picture. Sophie Williams, the 18-year-old student, one of the promising starlets among so many at Sunderland, receiving warm applause as she's carried from the Pride Park pitch. Nicola Devine will replace her, and our heartfelt good wishes go with Sophie Williams as she's carried away. It seemed innocuous, but clearly wasn't.
They're usually the worst ones, but they seem like nothing's happened.
And often it takes a while for a game to get going again after a potentially serious injury to a player. See how the remaining players react here. Stoppage was all of 5 minutes. Just chested the ball straight into the path of his left back, Sophie Halliday, who'll take the throw.
He just knew he had to get in on the act there, didn't he? It wasn't even good control. Wait till I see him after.
Well, let's get some news about poor Sophie Williams. We can join Ned Bolting on the touchline.
Yeah, just a word there. We spoke to the physios and the doctors who were treating Sophie and still are treating Sophie. It seems that on the pitch she suffered from what seems like a small seizure, and she wasn't able to talk at that point. She is, however, stable, and she's receiving oxygen, and they're very confident she'll make a recovery, but for a moment it did look extremely serious.
Well, let's hope that prognosis comes to pass, and that indeed she is recovered sooner rather than later. Davison. It's guided behind by the newly arrived Nicola Devine.
Sunderland need to maintain the concentration, and like you say, after a serious injury like that, and make sure they don't concede. But Arsenal will be looking to add to their goal tally here and make it a little bit more comfortable than it is at the moment.
Yankee with it. Goalkeeper comfortably within her range. Helen Alderson. She's got it away in the nick of time. It's Helen Lander, the Arsenal substitute, who closed her down at some pace. Yankee. Russell Suter left footer. And 2 deflections on the ball in, and a hefty clearance by Jordan Nobbs.
And Guttridge is made to run, and you know, when you're playing in that number 9 position, you've got to cover as much as the ground as possible, and she'll be getting tired now. She's done a good job, she's worked hard.
Studs, which the referee didn't like.
Yeah, the game's got a little bit bitty. It needs to get back into its stride again, I think.
Yankee. The Arsenal ladies formed with the amalgamation in 1987 with Aylesbury ladies. Pretty much unremitting success ever since. Winners of the UEFA Cup 2 years ago. 10 league titles, 9 FA Cups, 10 League Cups. It's one big trophy cabinet. Here's Stokes. Couldn't thread it. Here's Little.
I think you'll see, John, that Rachel Yankey's gone to the other flank now, not getting much change out of Lucy Bronze, so he's tried the other side and given Jevon Davison a go to have a go at right back Bronze.
Yankee. Good ball in, and Ludlow was sliding towards it.
It's a great position taken up by Jane Ludlow, and a good ball in by Rachel Yankey. It was just all the way, just a little bit too far away from Jane Ludlow's stretching leg, but again, great movement and good ball and a good run. Lucy Bronze thought she had it covered. She obviously knew that was going to happen. Ball suggests that's where she wanted Nikki Devine to be, but that's where she wasn't.
To deal with. I think it's given against Lucy Stanifer.
I think that was a fair challenge. I think she got the ball. Helen Lander did well trying to keep the ball, but she did get the ball. It fell over a trailing leg.
This is a promising position. Rachel Yankee. Goalkeeper riding her luck once more. Another injury here, this time to an Arsenal player.
It's a great ball in by Rachel Yankee, though, and it just, as the goalkeeper questioned, should she come for it, should she not? I think she took out the player's head rather than the ball there, but an escape by Sunderland. An Arsenal corner. It was Gilly, oh yeah, right on the head. Goalkeepers are allowed to do that, though. She got out to punch, and I bet she felt that.
A little surprised that she stayed down. And the physio from Arsenal, Claire Smith, who was so helpful in the treatment of Sophie Williams, called upon again.
She's had a starring role in this game. She's done well, unfortunately.
Julie Flaherty, who is a junior England under-19 international, tipped for future full honours. And a number of these Arsenal players will be part of the England squad as they look forward to Euro 2009 in Finland in August. And from Hope Powell, the England women's team manager at half-time. And Julie Flaherty looks in a bit of distress. So Arsenal with 10 take the corner. Rachel Yankee in, goalkeeper again got a punch. And Kira Grant sends the shot wide.
That's two Helen Alderson's got. I think Ricky Hatton should have had a sparring with her. She's got to Katie Chapman, but Katie Chapman is made of stern stuff. You noticed there, she's given birth to two boys, so she's not going to get knocked out by Helen Alderson, I don't think. Nothing phases her.
I'm suggesting that Sunderland's number one would have dealt rather better with Manny Pacquiao.
I should have given it a good go for the millions of pounds in it.
So 20 minutes to play, plus a hefty chunk of stoppage time. And this game still far from decided. Just needs a lucky break for Sunderland. One coherent move. To use your analogy, they retain a puncher's chance.
Absolutely, and it's one mistake by Arsenal if you think about it, but they've got to keep the ball better when it gets up into Arsenal's half, and that's not what they're doing at the moment.
Lucy Bronze, Danny Stokes.
Needs an experienced head like Kelly McDougall in the middle to rally the Sunderland girls and make them realise that there's not long left of this match and they're still in it, and it's one big effort and one chance and try and take it, and it's all there for them if they need it. They do need it and they do want it, and they've got to go for it.
That's it. Arsenal struggling to make pedigree tell. Greenwell for Sunderland, finding Stokes. Jordan Nobbs. They gather it in.
It's just that little intricate pass. It's got to be more accurate. I do like Jordan Nobbs. She can get her on the ball. We'll like to see her on the ball in the final third, and I reckon she can pop up with a goal.
People forecast that Sunderland wouldn't score in this final, but not many people suggested that Arsenal would only have one goal at this stage. Nick Akers, the Arsenal manager, was in no doubt when he spoke to us before kick-off that this was going to be a very tough game. Not going to take anything or anybody lightly.
Absolutely, it's a massive occasion, and you can't expect to walk over teams just because they're in the division below you. And Vic will have instilled that in his players today, and that's what's happened. And Sunderland have been a dogged opposition, and Arsenal have been difficult to break them down.
Sunderland a study in stickability. Second goal might break them though. Stokes. Nobbs. Guttridge is in field. There's no other options making themselves available now. Stokes once more. They really needed to go left.
So you've got strong players in there. Nephi, she's not going to be out-muscled by a smaller player like that. So you've got to get the ball and release it and get the ball moving forward for the Sunderland team.
Lander, onside, chance for two, good save. Really fine piece of goalkeeping by Helen Alderson.
Yeah, that's good play by Helen Alderson. She's keeping a team in this final, and Helen Lander didn't do that much wrong, and I think she was matched by the keeper there.
That's maybe where Arsenal miss Julie Fleeting. Flaherty up, not as high as Guttridge, and Guttridge ends up on the floor, and there was a foul there. So it will be a free kick for Sunderland. Lander denied by the outstretched leg of Alderson.
Yeah, it's good ball in, and Lander, she sort of picked a spot, she had a go, but was matched by Helen Alderson in the Sunderland goal, and again it's still 1-0, and it's still dodgy for Arsenal.
I think it's high time we updated you on the welfare of Sophie Williams, who was stretchered off, receiving oxygen. Ned Bolting.
Yeah, better news, John, about Sophie. She's sitting up, she's talking, she's conscious. She was on her way to hospital just as a precautionary measure because she has no history of fitting in the past, so they want to look into that. But Gemma Wilson, the Sunderland teammate, has just informed me she has been very sick over the last few days, so the two might be connected. But she's much better, John.
Thanks, Ned. Rather better news. Staniforth. Stokes will chase against Niamh Fahey. There are still some seeds of hope here for Sunderland.
Absolutely, it's just keeping the ball when you get up there and getting the support in.
Chapman, who remains the only goal scorer. Came just past the half hour. Davison. Laura Bassett.
Arsenal finding it really difficult to unlock the Sunderland defence, and this might just be the commentator's curse, but Sunderland have matched them.
Fahey. Jordan Nobbs. Kelly McDougall to Demi Stokes. Fahey facing her own goal. Jane Ludlow. Yankee. Lander on her way, and Alderson just it well.
Good play by the keeper there. She was always ready. It's like having an extra defender, a little bit of a sweeper.
With it, Julie Flaherty. Bannon, and then Bronze, and Little picks herself up. And that was a crucial interception by Vicky Greenwell.
Yeah, that's brilliant by the centre half, standing centre half as well. Arsenal just lacking that killer instinct in front of goal, and it could cost them if someone can get one back.
Kira Grant swooping header.
Sunderland have not put the likes of Kira Grant, Julie Flaherty into too much pressure this afternoon, and I think that's what they've got to be aiming for the last bit of this game.
Tony Gervais, part of the Arsenal coaching staff, there with his arms outstretched on the edge of the technical area. Still cause for Arsenal concern. Free kick.
What you don't want to happen is the game slipping away from Sunderland and they're growing in confidence. They've just got to give it a big effort and recognise that this is their chance. I mean, they're closer than any team have been in the last few years to nick an FA Cup final away from Arsenal.
Arsenal, remember, have played 9 previous finals and won all of them. Kira Grant. This is not perhaps the Arsenal of yesteryear, though, not after so many recent changes and departures. Helen Lander. played by Staniforth, who then was down.
I think it's the quality of the departures that do it, John. And you know, these are top-class players, world-class players as well, particularly Kelly Swift, that have gone. And you know, and I'm not. Arsenal are full of quality players, but it's just made other teams closer to them. You know, like at Everton.
Well, Lucy Staniforth is really taking a while to get back up. She's looking ruefully at that right ankle. Ball has been put out of play for her to receive attention. Father will be worried in the stand.
Just showing the ref. There you go, ref.
There is Dad Gordon, the former FA Cup semi-finalist. Plymouth Argyle, very, very fine player in his day. You can see the mark where the damage was done. She won't want to come off.
Yeah, I don't think it was meant. It was sort of accidental, but they're studs. If you haven't got ankle protectors on, then you're going to suffer from those little knocks.
Well, a place in the Champions League final at stake tomorrow. Second leg of the semi-final between Arsenal and Manchester United. It's live on ITV1 from 7:30, but before that, ITV4, the place to enjoy the build-up from 7 o'clock. And also, don't forget, next Sunday, big day of rugby union on ITV4 at 6:30. Highlights of the semi-finals of the Guinness Premiership.
I can see a few of the Sunderland players, John, sort of stretching the calves, and now they'll start to feel the effects of this pitch, this big pitch, the occasion, and you know, and the amount of physical intensity they have to put into a game like this, and see what happens last sort of 10 minutes plus.
So who'd have thought that we'd enter the last 10 minutes of the 2009 Women's FA Cup final? And still, Sunderland will be in with a racing chance. Kira Grant. Greenwell, untidy, foul, free kick.
One of the policemen nearly ran on the pitch and arrested her then. The foul is an assault. I think she'd made her mind up to have a jump to get the ball and then realised she's not going to get it.
The nearest policeman was her manager, Hearn. Change by Arsenal. Gemma Davison replaced now by Natalie Ross. Quite set the record they were hoping for. They missed it by 1,500 or so, but still one of the highest ever crowds for this match. 23,291 inside Pride Park this afternoon. Yankee. Oh, and Alderson changed direction well. Jane Ludlow's header.
Yeah, he sort of fell to Ludlow unexpectedly, but Alderson did well there to make sure she's keeping her team in it.
Yankee having to come back as defensive cover at the other end for Arsenal.
See, this is a situation Arsenal are not used to, you know, just being 1-0 up. Usually in games like this, the 2-3 goals to the good, and mistakes at the back don't really cost anything, and they've got to keep it tight, and that'll may affect confidence and nerves in the last few minutes.
Challenge, but a fair one. Jordan Nobbs is down. Now she's picking herself up in rather gingerish fashion. She's straight back into the thick of the action.
It's excellent play. Good little play.
She's shown it today on a broad stage. There's a few of these Sunderland players that may make it big in the years to come. Let's hear from the Arsenal boss, Vic Akers, with Ned.
Well, Vic, for as long as it's 1-0, it's not done, is it? They've done ever so well to contain you.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we've not taken grip of the game in the second period at all. We passed it poorly, and you know, we're disappointed with our second half effort. To be fair, we've never created a lot, and it's been a little bit of a mess this half, and we'll have a long talk about it after the game.
There'll be a fair bit of injury time, though, I should imagine, to hold on to. You just need them to up the ante now and just run at them and get that second goal that will seal it.
Yeah, we want to win the game comfortable. We want to show how we can play, and we haven't played that way this half. And we've just completely lost our rhythm and lost our way. And we need to get it back and get it back quickly. Pleasure.
He's a hard taskmaster.
Yeah, I wish he'd just say what he thinks rather than fladdle around. It's fair enough.
What you see is what you get with Vic Akers. He's the respected figure right across football. Here's Lucy Bronze.
You see, John, he knows that any mistake now from his team may result in a Sunderland goal, and he wants them to show that they're a lot better than that.
Kim Little. This is Natalie Ross. Second player set on by Vic Akers as he seeks to shake things up. Another Scottish international signed from Hibs. Lander. Bassett's cross, here comes Alderson. Had to claim it and did.
She took out Lucy Bronze at the same time, but she's got the ball, and that's the most important thing.
And your Eon-sponsored player of the match is something that we'll come to in just a moment, because that's your responsibility as well. And who, Lucy Ward, have you chosen?
Well, I think Kim Little's done well for Arsenal, but it has to be Lucy Bronze, number 2 for Sunderland. I think she's contained Arsenal extremely well. So my Eon player of the match.
Well, if Arsenal win, you've just messed up the FA's best laid plans, because they rely on the player of the match coming from the winning side when it comes to the presentations at the end.
Never mind. Player of the match is the best player on the day. And I do it on purpose.
So gold for Bronze.
I like that, John.
Now, can Arsenal find a clincher? Vicky Greenwell needs some attention before this corner can be taken. How would you sum up Sunderland's effort today? Have they surprised you, or have Arsenal surprised you in a negative way?
Yeah, I mean, Sunderland have done very, very well, and I think they've only just realised that coming into this second half that they actually have a chance. And you see, the way that Arsenal have been put under pressure in the league, they've not actually been that dominant. They've not got the massive players to bring on from the substitutes bench, which they have done the last few years. And it needs someone to take on that mantle and be that big player, and I think that's not quite happened yet. And obviously players like Jane Ludlow used to thrive off the likes of Kelly Smith and Kaz Carney, and that's not happening. So it's been a much sort of even game and a sort of better spectacle and better for the women's game. But Arsenal will want to score more goals, and Vic's right, they haven't played that well in this second half.
Well, there were 6 up in the box for Yankees corner. Oh, and Alderson again rides her good fortune. Tilly Flaherty, nearly the answer to Arsenal's quest for a second. Play rather broken as Yankee picks it up. Greenwell was playing everyone onside. Yes, without permission, she re-entered after the treatment for her injury, and because of that, the eagle-eyed referee has decided yellow card.
The referee's doing the important things right. But she obviously just nicked on to. That's why she was playing everybody onside, John, because she'd just run on without permission.
Scandalous.
It's a disgrace.
There she goes, nefarious, isn't it?
You can't really sneak on in front of TV cameras and 20-odd thousand, can you?
Not this referee. Lander.
It's worth an effort, but just need a little bit more quality. It was a good ball in, though.
Well, this is the difference between the sides.
Yeah, and who'd have thought we'd have been saying this at this stage, that Anne-Katie Chapman probably thought she was scoring the first of many, but at the moment it's the difference between the two teams.
Sunderland now have to show urgency. There will be a big chunk of stoppage time.
They will, and they need to recognise, again I'm saying it, the opportunity that they've now got. To get at Arsenal and make them make a mistake and try and get that goal back, it changes the complexion, but they have to be a lot more urgent in the play. But they're obviously absolutely shattered. That's another factor that comes into it, John.
Several of the Arsenal players do work full-time in the football arena, albeit as development officers. Is fitness a real issue at this stage? Absolutely. I mean, it's the difference between one of the difference between the top women's sides and the rest is the fitness of the players. And Arsenal will be on whole fitter than a younger Sunderland team and more experienced, which sometimes shows its play in this stages of game. Little. Yankee with a burst of pace past a towering Bronze, and Natalie Ross could have finished it.
They're starting to tire now, Sunderland, and that's where Arsenal's got to get at them. It's still just lacking that final attempt at goal. It's just not strong enough at the moment from Arsenal.
Yankee. 7 minutes.
That means it'll only just finish today. You said it's going to finish today, this game. It'll only just...
Oh, Helen Alderson dallied, and she's out of her goal, and that's a weak effort from Helen Lander.
Yeah, not enough conviction in that, but she did well to close Helen Alderson down.
Lander, Yankee has her arm up and wants it. Alderson getting more catching practice. And of course, your scenario is not taking into account, Lucy, Sunderland's late equaliser and half an hour of extra time.
Absolutely. It could be tomorrow by time it's finished.
Game has to be decided today. Sarah Danby. And Sunderland have another player down. Jordan Nobbs.
See, at this stage in the game, those sort of balls where you've got to chase after them are not going to work for Sunderland. I think Debbie Stokes wants the ball to her feet. Thank you very much.
Both sides can make one further substitution. Chapman, it's a better run. It's Kim Little. Alderson out, and Little has won the cup for Arsenal.
Yeah, absolutely. Kim Little, I mean, she's showed a quality in little glimpses throughout this game, but that's an excellent take. It's a ball that's sort of drafted in. She took it down very, very well. She did a little spin and finished in the goal. You see the ball that's played in is excellent. Just a little floated ball, onside, well onside. She took the ball down very, very well. Came up against the keeper, did a little spin. There you go, 2-0. Fantastic.
A pirouette straight out of ballet school. And a finish straight from the textbook.
Yeah, deserved as well. I think, whatever Vic says about Arsenal not playing the best in the second half, they do have the majority of the chances and probably deserve to be that 2-goal deficit for them against Sunderland.
Stanifer. Danby. Divine. It's a reasonable cross. Oh, and it's fallen for Stokes.
I don't think she could believe the look then, Debbie Stokes. She's completely to the referee, I think, for the challenge of the two Arsenal players, but the ball just presented itself in front of her. She just couldn't get enough strength on that shot.
Yankee. Ross. Bronze. Asking for more from those tired limbs which have given up the ghost. It's Yankee. It's Kim Little. And it's still only 2. That was dangerously close to a Sunderland hand. Chapman. And these Sunderland players, the majority out on their feet now.
Absolutely, and see, the momentum of the game's now with Arsenal. They've got the 2-goal cushion. They can do what they want, take risks, and that's what they're doing.
That drifted out of play. It will be a goal kick to restart, and there are 3.5 minutes still to play.
You probably see a little bit more of a relaxed Arsenal playing now. They're used to playing with 2 or 3 or 4 goals up, and that's what they're doing.
Here comes the England captain in place of Laura Bassett. Faye White comes on. She'll demand a share in lifting the trophy, no doubt, now as the club skipper.
Of course she will. I mean, an excellent player, Faye White, and it's good that she's back, and she's suffered 2 horrendous injuries, and I've chatted to her about my cruciate injury, and she's had one on both legs, and she's back and hopefully back into the starting lineup. She will be hoping anyway.
Stokes. Bronze. Danby. Now, is there a moment of glory for Sunderland? Good effort! Fine save.
Yeah, I think she saw Emma Byrne off the line there, but Emma Byrne not done much for the last 94 minutes, and they had to pull off a little bit of a save. There you go. That's one for the cameras. And it's an excellent try by Sarah Danby as well.
She'll take the corner. The other point that we haven't yet made is that this shows just how the depth of women's football is getting better and better, that aside from a lower division can give Arsenal a run for their money. Good claim by Byrne.
Absolutely. I mean, Sunderland have done their division proud, and they'll probably come up next season if they can manage to get promoted, and they'll be a force to be reckoned with. They've got a lot of young players who are developing all the time.
Flaherty. Little, who scored what now almost certainly we can call the clinching goal in this final.
Yeah, I think it makes Sunderland legs a little bit more tired. I think when that second goal went in, a little bit more hope is lost, and it makes Arsenal a little bit more of a spring in the step the last few minutes.
Staniforth. There's Faye White.
Definitely think that Sunderland can be proud of their efforts. From all the club, the squad, and the people that support them as well.
No doubt give them a taste for more. It's their first ever showpiece final. They hope to be with Arsenal in the big league, the Women's Premier League next season. 2 wins in their final 2 games will ensure that occurs. Day that these players, majority teenagers, will never ever forget.
Absolutely, you've got to understand this is the pinnacle of the women's game, playing an FA Cup final. It's the highest level domestic game you can play in, and it's similar for the men's. And these girls have got to enjoy every single minute of it.
And I think they have.
Absolutely.
Bronze chance, McDougall! Biggest cheer of the day for a consolation goal by Sunderland.
I think the first thing I'd be doing is getting the ball and getting it back to the middle. Excellent finish by Kelly Mack, and she's deserved that. She's the old woman of the team at 25, and a cool finish. Brilliant.
But it comes right on 97 minutes, and we were told 7 additional minutes. Probably too little and just too late, because Arsenal are confirmed as winners of the FA Women's Cup for the 4th year in a row. But huge credit to the upstarts from Sunderland for the fight that they put up. Arsenal, a goal up at half-time through Katie Chapman, had to wait until deep in stoppage time before Kim Little confirmed that they would retain the cup. Kelly McDougall, though, fittingly had the final say for Sunderland, who've done themselves and their division proud. Another trophy for Nick Akers on his farewell. The presentations and reaction in just a couple of minutes when we return. Full-time score at Pride Park. Arsenal 2, Sunderland 1.